Okay, so let's get into some Laker talk. In more particular, who's going to be the successor for the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, the Los Angeles Lakers organization fired Frank Vogel, meaning a few months ago. Well, yeah, a few months ago. And now they're searching for the next head coach. Now, I recommend Juwan Howard. The reason why I recommend Juwan Howard because of his relationship with LeBron James. He used to be on the coaching staff of the Miami Heat, so his expertise and his familiar of LeBron James. Plus, he's an above average head coach in my opinion. Now, has he ever had success on the NBA level as a head coach? No, this will be his first gig, but he has coached as well as played in the NBA. I thought Juwan Howard would be perfect. Juwan Howard declined the offer, and he is going to return for another season for the Michigan Wolverines. Now, a lot of people were, and everyone does this every single year, ever since Mark Jackson was let go from the Golden State Warriors, everyone always input his name every time there's a vacancy for head coach in the NBA. I didn't, when I looked at that, I just didn't, I didn't feel like that was a very good fit. Mark Jackson is good with his X's and O's, but at times he can come across as very opinionated and stubborn and hard-headed. And I just didn't see how that was going to fit and work with not only LeBron James, but as well as the Lakers front office. Because Mark Jackson if they would have hired Mark Jackson would have done things his way. All right. He would have hired his own staff. He would have recommended the players that he sees fit that could fit in his system. All right. So he's not going to placate to LeBron James. Even though he has a relationship with LeBron James and Clutch Sports. And he's definitely not going to placate with the Lakers organization, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, and Phil Jackson, and the multitude on top of multitude of people who is consulting for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, they are re-interviewing Terry Stotts. I think that's an okay hire. A lot of people are wondering, including the talking heads on television, Stephen A. Smith, the Skip Bayless, the Shannon Sharps, are talking about how come they're not trying to get a bigger name. And if you look at the current landscape of NBA coaching, a lot of the bigger names are already either tied to an organization or has moved on and has become analysts and things of that nature, not wanting to not wanting to come back into coaching. And a lot of people were throwing out Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers is a good coach. But other than the Boston, when he got a championship with the Boston Celtics as a head coach, he done a very decent job with the Orlando Magic. He done a semi-decent job with the Los Angeles Clippers. And he's doing a fairly decent job with the Philadelphia 76ers. But I just don't see that would have been a good fit for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because once again, I think Doc Rivers walks his own walk. Okay, he is not going to. He'll placate somewhat with the players, with the superstar players, the LeBron James, the Anthony Davises, the Russell Westbrook, and he'll sort of placate to the organization, Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, even Phil Jackson. But eventually, Doc Rivers would ultimately want to do things his way, want to hire his own staff, and feels that as far as the Lakers roster, the style, the system, he's going to play it and do it his way. Eventually, I just, maybe in the first couple of years, it will sort of work relationship-wise. But when you look at the whole spectrum of him being the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, I just, eventually clashes would ultimately happen. All right. Plus, the Philadelphia 76ers are not letting go of Doc Rivers. They're going to give him yet again another year and see how it plays out for him as far as being the head coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, here's the question I want to ask folks. Particularly this year, what makes the Los Angeles Lakers so attractive that a big name or a very successful head coach would leave their current situation to coach the mess of the Los Angeles Lakers? The roster is a mess. The organization is a mess. Everything about the Los Angeles Lakers head coaching job is a hot dumpster fire. It's a hot, smelly pile of dog crap. Okay, it's not proven to be. It's not proven to be a successful environment. Not only that, you only got 1 year with LeBron James. And can he reproduce what he did this season? Not only that, you got Anthony Davis who consistently stay injured. Okay. Not only that, you got Russell Westbrook. As of right now, there are no takers as far as trading Russell Westbrook to another team. So you have to deal with that mess. The cap situation. They don't have enough young assets or talent players where you can build something from it, or you can sell the players off to get better players. Not only that, they're kind of light and thin on draft picks because they mortgage their future as well as their young talent to get that one championship in that shortened season. They had a break in between that shortened season, and they played the rest of the regular season games as well as the playoffs, as well as the NBA Finals in one environment, which was the bubble. After they got that championship, they had a first-round exit 2 years ago against the Phoenix Suns, and they didn't even make the playoffs this season. So what makes the Los Angeles Lakers job that important? Where successful head coaches that are successful where they're at in their current in their current job, why would they leave there to coach the Los Angeles Lakers? There's really nothing there that a very successful coach would say, okay, I can really do something with that roster and with that talent. Okay, so I feel like ultimately, and I'm still sticking to my guns on this, and I've done a live stream and a video about this, I feel like ultimately the Los Angeles Lakers organization, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, they're going to have to settle for a lesser known name. A younger coach that's trying to get his foot in the NBA doors. It's going to be either a young, successful assistant coach from the remaining teams or the teams that were in the playoffs that wants to make a name for themselves, or they're going to have to go into the college realm. And in my opinion, if they go into the college realm, then they have already doomed next season. Obviously, if they go into the college realms, they're rebuilding. And I've been saying this, I feel like Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka is pushing the reset button. They're saying to themselves, okay, should we push the reset button a year too early or a year too late? And I feel like Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka sees the landscape of the Los Angeles Lakers. They're not going anywhere, folks. They're not going to win any titles. There's no significant trade that can take them out of the current position where they see themselves today. This is clearly a reconstruction, and it's going to take several years to clean up that organization and that roster. If you're a Laker fan, I'm sorry, but if they select a young, unproven college coach from the college realm, or a young assistant from any of the successful teams that are in the playoffs today, that this is going to be their first head coaching gig, they're rebuilding. they're hitting the reset button, and they're saying to themselves, we rather hit the reset button 2 years early than 2 years late. We only got 1 year with LeBron James. If you read all the articles and reports, LeBron James is not interested in re-signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. He also got his iron stoked in other possibilities as far as playing long enough so he can play alongside his son. Okay, so I think LeBron James is moving past titles. He's not chasing the ghost in Chicago, which is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He's not trying to be the greatest player. I think he's settled with what he has built so far, his legacy and his career with the NBA. Now, people will still have barbershops all around the world, will still have arguments. Who is better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? If you look at the titles, the NBA final appearances, the NBA final awards, as of right now, Michael is surpassing him just in those two avenues alone. So people are going to remain, and as long as his name is prominent in social media, I mean, Michael Jordan hasn't played in almost a decade. All right. So, well, in a decade plus, and yet young folks still consider Michael Jordan the GOAT over LeBron James. And I feel like LeBron James is looking at it from this perspective. Look, I can't win that battle. So if I get the Kareem record, I already got the hardware. I already got the individual achievements, okay? I've already got the MVP finals as the Miami Heat and Cleveland, as well as the Lakers. I got those, okay, on my resume. And I have always done a lot of things outside the court. I'm good in the hood, so I'm just gonna just continue to just run the course. And my final bucket list thing is wanting to play alongside my your son. Which if you look at the NBA superstars, that has never happened. So that's gonna be groundbreaking. Particularly if LeBron James is having half of the success that we're seeing with him right now. If he does half of what he did last year for the next 3 or 4 years, I think that's good. That is very good. I mean, he's leaving sort of on a high note. He's just not just laying in the weeds, so to say, in the NBA, just sitting on the bench, getting his 10 and 15 minutes of playing. If he does half for the next 3 years, if he just does half of what he did this year, I think that's good enough for him to continue to be a starter. Okay, so yeah, that's all I got for today. And to look, I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers are going to rebuild. They're pushing the rebuild button now. They'd rather push it 2 years early than 2 years late. Okay, so it's your boy. I'm up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.